Welcome to Our Sistas Corner podcast.
We're bridging the gap between literature and healing.
I'm Kenyatta.
I'm Diamond. We believe where two or three are gathered, we'll get into everything in between: friendship, healing, and literature. Also link with us on our website on oursistascorner.com. With that being said, let's get into the episode.
Hey.
Welcome to our first episode of 2025.
Yes, we are back.
Yeah.
We're back this year, and
we're
so excited.
And we
are
mean
here with
business.
another year.
Because we in back.
Yes, we are here with another year of bridging the gap between healing and literature. And I'm so excited for all that we have in stores.
Yes. Okay. So this is our first episode of 2025. And we are reading More Than Enough by Elaine Welteroth.
Yes.
Girl, you ate on this book. But let me be real. I started reading your book 5 years ago. And I wasn't ready to read it. I was not ready to read this book, and I am so thankful that we double back on it. I'm thankful that you suggested, like, you know what, let's read that book. You know what?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know it had been on your shelf for a while, and just with the new year, we like to bring in the year with some good energy. We like to hop into our memoir or self-care bag. So I feel like this was the perfect way to start the year. Just ending last year on the note that it ended on. I feel like, what better way to start than realizing that we are more than enough, just
More
as we
than
are.
enough.
So
Period.
here we are.
Period. I know that's right.
Yes.
But
yes.
I have really enjoyed this double back on this book. I know this is your first time reading it, and our pre-show notes and discussion or whatever, it has really hit home. I know we say this every episode. This may need to be one of our slogans, but we really don't miss. We
don't miss.
Thank you, God. God is always in our corner when it's time to pick a book. Y'all know our slogan. Our slogan is bridging the gap between literature and healing. So every time we pick up a book, it is time to get into the healing bag. It is time to put up the mirror and get what we need to get from the pages. And I'm telling you, this is the best book we could have read to start this year. The quotes, the scenery, the go-getter energy that we need for 2025 for us to relax and refocus on ourselves. 92. This was a great book. This was a great book.
Yes.
Like, no cap.
Yes,
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree. I feel like last year we spent so much time working, grinding, trying to set foundations for the future that we often missed out on things like internally. There were moments where I feel like we both can relate to this. There are moments where we feel like we were hard on ourselves, even though we are doing our things. We were hard on ourselves, or just not giving ourselves the credit and appreciating ourselves in those moments. And that gratitude would always come in hindsight. We talk about that a lot. So just starting the year knowing up front you are more than enough, even if you don't accomplish anything else for this year, you already more than enough. So I'm excited.
Me too. I am excited. Our theme for this month, we are discussing what was it? Gratitude and joy.
Yes.
So our theme for this month is gratitude and joy. But we really wanted to take that not only just for the month, but that is the overall theme for this year. I know I've been talking Kenyatta ear off for the last 2 months about how I did not want a word for 2025 that was going to have me just like continuously critiquing myself, because that's what it's been for these last 2 years. And this year I just been saying I wanted to focus on joy. I wanted to focus on things that I was excited about, that I wanted to relax and really just hone in on things I want to do for myself. And That is literally the entire it's the entire theme of this book. I'm telling you, even though she
Yes.
is working towards her career, you can tell that she's genuinely like a joyful girl. Like, I'm loving to hear everything about her family, her mom, her dad, and yeah, I'm really loving the energy that's coming from this book. It's beautiful.
No, I love that. I think this year we said, well, I said for us, like, God, show us how good it can get.
Period.
And on all fronts, I
Yeah.
love that you talk about resting and going into things with ease and not
Mhm.
just not subscribing to hustle culture, because we have been guilty of doing that. And this year we
Mhm.
are moving more graciously with ease and allowing rest into our lives and not feeling bad about it. So,
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah, so with that being said, we can get into a little bit of the overview of what to expect from this episode. We are excited to dive into our subject matter for this year, which we talk about gratitude and hope and joy. But we also want to talk about the takeaways of what we pulled from 2024, because you can't know how you're going to move forward if you don't have a clear understanding of where you've been and how your previous actions have maybe hindered you from being the best that you wanted to be, or like we said, slowing down, focusing on ease, focusing on joy. So we're going to do a small recap of 2024, good and bad. And then we're going to get into the goals that we have for 2025, our hopes and dreams for this year for the podcast. Um, and New Year reflections and what type of things we want to implement for the new year. So we definitely hope y'all
Okay,
enjoyed this
some very
episode.
exciting stuff.
Yes. So okie dokie.
So there are like some themes in the book that
Mm-hmm.
are really great, and I feel like as we have been reading, they have offered us the chance to just reflect on how last year went and taking some of those themes and really deciding how we want to move forward. So,
Okay.
for example, one of the themes that I noticed in More Than Enough, she really
Mm-hmm.
talks about her self worth and
Mm-hmm.
just how your identity and just growing up and your upbringing, how it shapes how you see yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and just reading her story growing up. And I love, like you said, I love the book and how she talks about her family. She has such, of course every family has their own structure or own
Mm-hmm.
struggles, but there's just such a lighthearted feel to it, where I feel
Mm-hmm.
like her mom was very intentional with making sure that she knew about herself. And I
Yes.
think just going into the world, sometimes we tend to forget that. And for me, last year, I would relate that to not overextending myself. My
Mm-hmm.
self worth is not defined by how much I do, or how much I accomplish. I
Mm-hmm.
really like this the theme of this book of just really being more than enough. Like, you don't have to perform for you to be deemed worthy. I'm worthy
Mm-hmm.
simply because I exist. Because God said that I was born and I'm still here to this day, with breath in my body. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm enough.
I agree.
Um
That's a great point. Oh, I love that. But yeah,
we
she
talk about this all the time, just about how we have so many things on our plate sometimes and just feeling so
hmm
overwhelmed, and you feel overwhelmed because you're doing too much.
yeah,
So slow down.
overextending,
Oh my
trying to
goodness,
be everywhere
yes.
at once, child. Woo. Raise his hand. Mm,
Yes.
mm,
So
mm.
that's definitely something that I want to be more intentional about this year, just not overextending myself, not doing too much in a short period of time.
I agree. I agree. I like how you said with her family, like her mom definitely was very intentional that she understood who she was, not only who she was and pertains to her family, but who she was as an individual, and giving her the space to actually grow into herself, giving her the opportunity to understand her blackness because she is mixed race. That was really beautiful. but just really allowing her to have her own individual experience and not having to live up to some type of criteria or some type of expectations. You can really tell that their family operates in love and on all
Yes.
levels. So I really love that. I think this past year with self worth, I can say I agree with what you said. Like, your accomplishments do not determine your self worth. You know me, I had a long list of things that I wanted to get done, get accomplished, prove to myself that I could get done and get accomplished. And I could tell, like, towards the end of the year, as a lot of things did grow greatly, some things didn't get to the point that I wanted to get to. And I think I had to kind of like fight through that feeling of not having gratitude, like everything was still good or I was still worthy or I still did a great job, because like you said, we have this long list of things that we want to get accomplished, and if they don't happen in the way, perfectionism, they don't happen in the way that we have in our minds, that we kind of can convince ourselves that we're not good enough, and that like the other things didn't matter, and they do. You know what I'm saying? Everything that you do every day, all the strides you make every day, excuse me, um, it's not to determine your worth. That's just a part of your path. You are worthy
Yes.
regardless if you reach any goals this year or not. As long as you're waking up doing your best, as long as you're waking up and you're being kind and you're being your genuine self, then you are enough. And I think that that's something too. I agree with, that this year has really taught me to not think that I'm not worthy. You are worthy, you know, because the to do list
Mhm.
is always going to be there.
Yes. Like I know we were trying to, like sometimes we're guilty of trying to fit a 10-year plan into 1 year and
Hmm.
then beat yourself up when it doesn't work. Like it wasn't supposed to. Like a lot of people
Mm-mm.
don't accomplish that in 12 months. That's just not being realistic. And I think that was a
Mm-hmm.
thing for me too, just to set more realistic time frames when it comes to certain things. Like, girl, you're not losing 25 pounds in a month.
Hmm. It's not gonna happen, Diamond. It's not
And I
gonna
think
happen.
all of that just goes
Don't
back
use
to
them.
like just extending grace to myself and just learning to not be so hard on myself. Like you are not
Hmm.
superwoman.
Hmm.
You cannot do, I like this quote that says like you can do anything but you can't do everything.
Period.
And that's so real. Like you can't
Mm-hmm.
do everything. And at this point, like I don't want to do everything. I'm in my
Mm-mm.
delegation era. I'm looking for people to do this for me. How can I outsource this? So
Okay, delegation.
yeah.
Yeah. Felt. I really just to kind of like piggyback a little bit, but the on the self worth, and another thing that was in the book was transitions. I want to kind of put these two together. Another thing
Okay.
with self worth that I think I reflected on from last year, um, not allowing personal experiences like toxic relationships, whatever, whatever's happening in my personal life, um, to make me feel like I'm not enough or worthy enough for the things that I want in my business life, like being distracted and then not applying myself or showing up in the capacity that I wanted to show up. Through last year, we had so many different transitions, so many things that happened. Child,
Yes.
we started off the year with high momentum, and then things just started to trickle in as life does. And I think that this year I definitely want to be better at that, but like the transition through the different seasons, things happening, but still committing to the things that I committed to and not feeling discouraged. I think that was a
Mm-hmm.
big thing from last year with self-worth and transition, so I definitely wanted to touch on that one, y'all, because it got a little sticky in 2024, but life happens. Still show up, still, get the things accomplished that you want to get accomplished, because what's for you is for you. And she definitely talks about that when she talks about first love in the book and everything like that. Just her different seasons that she went through with that, and kind of finding her self worth. Like it gets better. Don't hold on to something that's not working. It gets better. But also while you're not holding on to that, stick to your goals. Miss Mamas, she stuck to her goals. First love ain't stopped nothing.
Nothing at
Hmm.
all.
Period. I love that.
Yes. And I think I like what you said, just bringing in transitions and between just life as
Mhm.
a woman and in business and separating the
Mhm.
two. Because sometimes I think just being emotional women or people, that the lines are easy to blur. And if I'm feeling away personally, I definitely have been guilty of taking that into my professional life. And
Mhm.
I feel like I am, learning the balance between that, because as time progresses, just in work, I have noticed that I have been just blessed with opportunities for growth and just opportunities to be in leadership roles. And
Mhm.
I think previously I would shy away from that. And honestly, I
Mhm.
think it was because not just a lack of self worth, because I know what I bring to the table in that aspect, but in the sense of knowing that this bigger role requires more and not
Mhm.
wanting to give
Gotta
more in
be.
that way, because
Mhm. Gotta be
it just
responsible
it
for others.
it requires a lot.
Mhm.
um so I feel like for me, as far as transitions, I am becoming more comfortable with transitioning into
Higher.
more and being okay with
Higher
that.
heights. Mhm. Cause you
So
know something. You said this at the beginning of the episode. We can't, and I know we said this a little bit in 2024. And forgive us, Lord, but you know your children. You had said, we want to see how good it gets. In that same statement, seeing how good it gets takes a bigger territory. You know what I'm saying? That may come with bigger territory. That may come with more responsibility. So
it
you
does.
definitely, it does. It does. You definitely have to put yourself in position, and speaking to myself as well, you have to put yourself in position and keep yourself in position to be able to govern over that bigger territory with discipline, with organization, and with persistence. You know, shots fired,
No, that's
Donna.
real. We
You
talk
got it.
about
You
that
got
all the time.
period. And
We talk about that all the time.
I
Yes.
think that with us transitioning, because last year we did transition into the book club being an official podcast. That took more too, and I think that now we see what responsibility comes with that, and I think we handled it well last year. Kudos to us. We handled it well. Ball got dropped a few times, but guess what? Ball never got lost. Game still got finished. Period.
Yes.
But
Yes.
we definitely know, we know now, we see the bigger picture of the bigger territory that we want to step into, the bigger things that we want to happen in the podcast, because we did set big goals for last year, and we didn't know what workload would come with what we were doing, so we were just getting into the
Yes.
ball game. You know what I'm saying? Now we in the ball game, we know what the workload gonna be, we know what the schedule has to be, and we know how to better govern what God is trying to give us. So I think, yeah, yeah. Last year was cool, but this year's gonna be better.
Yeah. I feel like no, I agree. I agree. Prior to just realizing all that it took, I think
Mhm.
I went into it just with this mindset of it's going to happen, but
Mhm.
not so much as like being disciplined in the action plan to make it happen. And like you said,
Mhm.
just more responsibility requires more of you, and
Mhm.
I understand that a little better now. And that's really crazy, because that is something I've always known, but I felt like because we were just doing this, I felt like this was just for us. initially. Like the book club, Our Sistas Corner was for Kenyatta and Diamond. Like we were the ones
Mm-hmm.
receiving the healing. We were the ones, you know, gaining the knowledge from the books. But as time progresses and just seeing how beneficial it has been for us, because I feel like we have taken the knowledge and the lessons and applied them to life, and I feel like last year was a great year. I think
Mm-hmm.
I could have been just more disciplined in what goals I set for the book club.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree with that. But I do feel like everything else surrounding the book club last year helped me to be better prepared to implement those plans this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
So
I
yeah.
agree.
Like,
Yeah.
girl, you want to reach out to a bunch of women. You want to impact a bunch of women, but you're scared to be on camera. Like, you get shy on camera. Like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
And
like,
we we really got an opportunity to kind of like, I think that we have to take into account, God knows his children, God knows what he has for us, and God also knows how we would approach the situation in general. I think that that not I think I know that that's no surprise to God. So our path is written out, and we just know now that, and this kind of goes into the next theme, that breaking boundaries. This goes into us getting outside of our own comfort zones and seeing ourselves in a bigger light, so that we are able to step into these areas and excel. Like even last year, when we had our first collab with the another podcast, they invited us on. Shout out to y'all.
yeah.
What is
Shout out to
keeping it
keeping it
keeping
organic.
it organic, period. Um, with them inviting us, that was an opportunity for us to stretch, because we said on that episode, like, when our manager telling us, like, reach out to people, see if authors want to collab, see if other podcasts want to collab, and we were like scared to do that, like, just, and she talked about this in the book, like, don't allow fear to keep you in places that will limit how great you can get when you have bigger things that are destined for you. And you just never know what all is behind you pushing past that fear. And last year we were kind of like, that's not what we signed up for. And now we
Yes.
know that actually you did. You cannot say you want to be invited to a panel to speak or whatever, or invited by authors to collab, and you scared to have a episode with some people you don't
And you
know.
shy.
What?
Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Come on now. So, I think that pushing past those limitations, those limited beliefs that we have about ourselves, that we deserve and we are supposed to be in these bigger rooms and bigger territories. Bigger territories. Yeah. You definitely have to grasp that I belong here. Like you said, I am more than
Yes.
enough. Um, and
And I add
I'm here.
value. I'm
Period.
valuable. I add value to the conversation, and I have something to say. Like what I have to
Hmm.
say is important. The lessons that I have, the knowledge that I have, can benefit the people, the women in my community.
Period.
Yes. So
Hmm.
I feel like 24 was a really great lesson just on self worth and just remembering that we are more than enough.
Hmm.
Not to be so cliche, but I really love the title. I really
Hmm.
love the title because I do feel like sometimes just it is easy to it can be easy to forget that. It
Yeah.
can be easy to forget that.
I think too, and it kind of goes back to a lot of the things that she talks about with the rooms that she ends up in, and she has to reaffirm herself that she is more than enough and that she does belong here. We also are kind of taboo in our own personal lives. We really don't have anyone in our personal worlds that does content creation or that is doing podcasts or just striving for these type of goals. So it seems like it's out of place, especially when people can look at what you're doing and not really understand. They can't really reaffirm it. But we have to understand for ourselves what our goals are. We have to understand for ourselves what our vision is and what we feel called to do. Um, and align with what God is calling us to do as far as like this podcast, because we know it's divine order, baby. Listen, it's a God thing, like she said. A lot of stuff just be coming together. It is not us, girl. We dress alike. I didn't tell this girl I was wearing black and the dark lip. I didn't tell her that.
We're really up here getting ready
We
at the
got on
same
here like,
time.
period. We got on here like, fight the power. What? Like,
Somebody
and
called
I
a 92.
period. And that's just confirmation, but I just think that I love the fact that she talks about being in all of these places that affirm her fear that she's not supposed to be here, or that she's not enough, or that this is not the right path, or that you need to just fade into the background. And she's like, you know what? No, I'm more than enough. I deserve to be doing the things that I'm doing, and I add value, like you said, and I matter, and I'm supposed to be doing this. God orchestrated all of these things to work together for my good. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going.
And I
So
feel like just having this conversation, I feel like there can be like this misconception that we don't know that we are more than enough. And I feel like that
mhm.
isn't true, because I know that I'm worthy and I know that I add value. But
Mhm.
sometimes when we are just going through life in our day to day, just, knocking out our never ending to do list and trying to just accomplish so many things, when things
Mhm.
aren't happening in a timely manner or in a way that I think they should for myself or just for us, it can be easy to forget that.
Hmm.
I mean, I know that we are more than enough, but subtle reminders are key. You
Hmm.
need things around you to remind you in case you forget, when
Don't
your
get
head is just
discouraged.
down working so much. So yeah,
Mhm.
I didn't want people to feel like it's like this never ending insecurity or something, because it's not that.
Oh
It's not that.
no. Mm-mm. It's just a journey. It's just an unfamiliar journey. Just with anybody walking on a path that has never been traveled before, there are no steps in front of you. You're literally walking by faith, and you're trusting that every step that you're making is leading you closer to a destination that you don't even know that you're going to. So who wouldn't be discouraged sometimes? Who wouldn't question sometimes? Who wouldn't get into places like, God, I know you called me here. I know you put this on my heart. I know you put these ideas in my mind. But what is happening? Can you phone in? What is happening? So it's not a insecurity, it's a concern. But just having to clock back in, like, okay, cool, you set the sign, I'm still on the right path, and just keep
Yes.
going and trust yourself. Hmm.
No, that's real. That's real. So
So
I
yeah. Hmm. Okay, so at this point, let's see. All right, so if you agree with what we just discussed, or you feel called to anything that came up within this small mini confirmation of, hold up, this small mini conversation that was discussing the past year and our experiences and how we want to, you know, learn from our past experiences from this past year. We do encourage all of the listeners to reflect on your 2024. We know that's a big thing for 20, at the beginning of the year, January or whatever. That's a big thing to affirm what you want to have for the new year, setting those goals and intentions, your vision, or whatever you may call it. But we definitely want y'all to reflect on some of the things that we discussed in this first part of the episode, and pick up this book. Pick up this book. But for real, you need it. You need it, because this information is not just coming from us. It's coming from Elaine, and we would love for you guys to join us for this review. Even if you get it after we read this book, if you're watching it 6 months from now, pick up the book. It's a great read. And yeah.
No, I agree. It really is a great read, and just listening to different perspectives on the same topic has been really refreshing to see, because she's still in the book. She talks about her struggles just as a biracial woman, and just going into the book, I know that everyone has their struggles as women, as Black women, insert your identifiers here. But it is just a reminder that we are more alike than we realize when it comes to things. We're all, plagued by the same isms of the world, and we're all just having this similar experiences in different bodies. So this has been a really good read, and I think that anybody that picks it up, no matter the gender, I think you would enjoy it.
Period.
Just as a person. So
let's move into the hopes. What?
No, I was just gonna say, now we're just tapping into something moving forward, talking about our hopes for the new year.
I was gonna say, what happened, girl? Yeah, so let's tap into let's really get into our hopes that we have for 2025. Personal and podcast goals. Of course, we're gonna talk about our things. But yeah, definitely write all these things out. If you're watching this episode, write all these things out. All of the things that you want to reflect on from the previous year or years before, and then your hopes and dreams for this year, so you can see a clear map of how you're connecting the dots from what you've learned to what you want to accomplish in the new year. We definitely advise that every beginning of the year, whether you want to do the vision board, the vision, what is it, the homepage, we do the digital now, we're doing
the
the vision
bingo
book.
cards, the
Girl,
whatever,
it's
the
so
prayer
much
boards.
that you can do. Yeah, definitely map all that out so that you can be intentional about how you want to take this information and these positive experiences into the new year and making them come into the physical, because I know sometimes we can have a lot of ideas and they get lost in the sauce if you don't write them down. But yeah, so let's go ahead and move into our hopes with our, want to start with the personal or the podcast goals for 2025?
Let's start with the personal. Let's start with the personal.
Okay.
I'll start. So I really have not. I've mapped out what I want to see for myself for this year. I've mapped out a little bit, but I have not just completed my vision. Because I wanted to take things slower this year. I didn't want to put 1,000 things on my goals for 2025. So with that being said, professionally, I want to get my professional license. And just increase my income in that way. I want to work with some agents underneath me. My goal is to bring on 3 agents, and to just begin my journey to, I don't know, increase, Lord. I just want to increase my territory, increase my finances. I want to travel more. Last year I set a goal for myself that I love traveling every quarter. Like every 3 months, I want to be taking a trip. It can be local, it can be international, but I just want to be in the air. Yes, I just want to travel more. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant, but it does have to be intentional. I want to continue cultivating just safety, safeness, vulnerability, and just love in my relationship and my friendships, my family. Just, I want to stop saying so much. I just want this year to be more intentional in all aspects of life. In addition to just growing professionally, traveling more, I want to be more intentional about cultivating just more love in my relationships with my man, with my friends. Like, I want everything that I do to be intentional. I want to continue growing my relationship with God. I talked about, maybe finding a new church. I've been
Mm-hmm.
saying that for a while. I've been eyeing this one particular church that I have not visited yet. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm really excited. This is big for me, but I want to finish the Bible. I want to read the entire Bible this year, and I'm really excited about that.
Okay.
Um, I just want to, I don't know, intentional increase. I feel like that sums up everything
Mm-hmm.
how I feel. Just get more serious about my health. I think discipline has been like a big issue for me. Just across the board, discipline has been a big issue for me. So I want to just be more intentional about myself and everything surrounding me, everything that I'm a part of.
Okay.
I hope I didn't miss
Yeah.
anything.
Mm.
What about you? What you got?
Okay. Okay. So, for personal goals, Um, hmm. So just starting off with, I'm just gonna start off with just what's closest to me. So with myself and the twins, I want to be more intentional this year about our health and diet. As most of you may know, if you've been watching this, the twins are on the spectrum. So I want to be more intentional about certain things that have kind of been studied as far as around diet that's connected with the gut, that's connected with cognitive function. So just helping a little bit with autism speech and just, focusing on things to improve their well being in life. And also my well being. You touched on discipline. That's definitely number one with discipline as far as food, a better relationship with food, and getting physically active and keeping that up throughout the year. Just getting a better relationship with moving my body. Um, yeah, moving my body and what type of ways I want to do that for the year. Also, with me and the twins, with traveling, I want to set at least two places that we travel this year, most likely for my birthday and just something cute, maybe a cruise. Maybe a cruise, a group cruise, and just include the kids as well. That I want to learn how to travel with them being on the spectrum. That's something that I took a big step back from, not really feeling comfortable with having them out by myself because sometimes they would elope, but they're so much better with that now. So I wanted to focus on maybe planning two trips for this year that we can do together to get them comfortable with traveling because I do want to travel more, and that'd be something that they are accustomed to. Along with travel for the twins, I do want to do some stuff with my friends this year. Um, I would say activities. I'm linking these two together because I talked about this like a week ago. We talked about it, but I want to get more accustomed with joy this year, not just with me as with my mom. I'm not my mom, Jesus. Me and with as a mom and with the twins, but joy with all around the board, with friends, with possible me and a, and as a mom, I want to get more into hobbies that I like to do,
Yes.
activities, um, different forms of exercise. I wrote down dancing, girl. I wrote down going to a pole dancing class. Just
Okay.
different things that I kind of been seeing these last few weeks that I definitely want to encounter just to see what do I like to do. In our 30s, more hobbies, more activities, more. So doing that and so that's for the personal, more activities and hobbies for myself, and then also inviting my friends out to those hobbies to build more close relationships so that you guys can experience some things that I like. I'm typically not the person who has been the invitee these last few years, just as I kind of just took a step back from doing a lot of personal stuff myself. But I definitely want to jump back into that to build those interpersonal relationships and experiences with the people I love and the things that I love to do. Okay. Moving into business, I want to get into real estate this year because I want a building. Call me if you know what to
Okay.
do. But
Okay.
I want a building this year, and I definitely want
Excuse me.
to combine my two professional jobs, my job titles as a photographer and a hairstylist. I want to combine those things and have them operating in the same space, even if it's to December 31st at the end of the year. I want a building. That's a big goal for me this year. Hopefully, we will be if the Lord says fine, we'll be moving soon into our own home. So that's something that I definitely want to see happen this year. On the business aspect, just being more diligent with continuing the goals that I set and started this year. Had my first product that released the previous year, 2024. This year, I want to take it up a notch, promoting that more, using it more in content, showing clients how this is a transformative product that you need to buy by the, Sleek Solution. Post a picture here. But
Okay.
shameless plug. Let's see. I definitely want to map out this year exactly all the different goals that I want to accomplish when it comes to the businesses and them being separate, but also the goals of how they work together. I've been having that on my mind as two things that I may create. I'm not gonna put that out in the atmosphere yet. I'm gonna let the forces work with me for that one. But I definitely want to see my businesses come together this year and have them in the same place. That's a big goal for me. I didn't talk that into the ground, child. I hope I have a rich uncle pop out with a building for me. But may the forces be with me. Whew, so we hit business. I said something about health, personal. I am dating right now, so I definitely want to see that move into a positive. You know, you know. I I'm talking to a man that man said I'm his girlfriend. So I haven't officially said I was his girlfriend, but
Yes, okay.
I think I'm his
Walking
girlfriend though.
into this year with just newness.
I like that man. Lord, we gonna put this out, and I might cut this part.
I just thought of I just thought about that. Look.
I might cut that part out, but I am talking to a man right now, so I'm dating.
Mhm.
So yeah, but overall, this year I want to prioritize more building in business, more experiences for me as a mom for the twins, more expansion when it comes to the twins and their verbal and their health, and just moving to the next level. They start school this year. Woo, put me on the prayer list.
Don't you start. Don't you start.
Girl, put me on the prayer list. And just joy. I want to enjoy this year. I really want to map out, tap into things that bring me joy and I have fun and meet new people, friends, groups, whatever, get into my interests this year. Figure out what they are. Getting to know myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love this for you. I feel like
Hmm.
your list is very intentional,
Hmm.
and I'm excited to see what this year has in store for you. I know that you have been working very hard to just, see the things that you want for yourself and the twins, and I'm with you 1,000%. I love this for you.
Appreciate
I'm
it. Thank
excited
you.
for your journey and onward and upward.
Period. Period. And you as well. You were so intentional last year about just getting outside, having fun. You already know, been cheering you on this whole year. So I love to see it. And this discipline, you, I feel like you're disciplined. I guess that's from my perspective when it comes to certain things. But this discipline, we really gonna take it to the next level. I'm speaking that into existence for us because really that affects everything that we just listed. Just consistent discipline, seeing it through, no matter what hurdles come up, jumping them, moving to the next thing. And yeah, this is going to be an amazing year
Yes.
for us. Our territories will definitely be larger, and I truly
Thank you,
believe that
Lord.
this is the way it was supposed to go. You know, we jumped
Yes.
out the bat and wanted it to be on page, the last page of the book, but God is like, baby, you just on the first chapter. Wait, you're gonna get
Yes.
there.
Right?
They don't love you like, listen, you don't love me like I love you, cause girl.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. I feel like I am disciplined. And I also, well, so two things can be true. So I do
Mhm.
know that I have discipline when it comes to just life in general. And I also know that when I am tired and overwhelmed, I will drop the ball when it comes to me. Like I meet deadlines professionally and when things are due, but when it's time to do something for myself, committing to a schedule to work out, I'm quick to drop the ball when it comes to me. And this year, I don't want to do that. Like, I want to
Mhm.
put me first in that
Mhm.
aspect. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what this year has in store for us because we have a lot of things planned personally and professionally.
Mhm.
And now let's hop into how we are shaping ourselves and the podcast for this year.
You know what? As you were talking, I was thinking about that, and we talked about this. Me and Kenyatta talked about most of this before it ever makes it to the air. Anyway, if you don't know us, we're professional yappers, so we just got to bring that to the camera. Period. Cause it be good. Okay, it be good.
Yeah.
My biggest goal for the podcast is for us to merge it with our real life, but also to it becomes something so easy for us to do that it does not feel like work. And we know that that comes from us getting comfortable with the things that we want to do within our personal life. And I think when we first started the podcast, we thought that us getting consistent with things in the podcast would trickle over into our personal lives. From experience, as we just discussed, that doesn't make sense. It
Sadly
doesn't work.
mistaken.
Period. We learn. We learn. But we know now that falling into a great not falling into setting up and being intentional and disciplined with a great system that's for our personal life makes so much more room for us to operate with ease and with joy and to have fun with the things that we create for the book club. Because if my real life is in not real life, but if my personal life and business life is in shambles and I'm behind and I'm a little overstimulated, how can I operate with joy and fun doing something that is an extra activity? You know what I'm saying? How? How? So we know now that we just have to get more comfortable with navigating our schedules for our personal lives and business lives because that comes first. That comes first. The first thing you're gonna drop is the thing that you're doing for fun. Um, so really, I want the biggest goal for the podcast this year, and it's gonna sound wild, and we can revisit this on the last episode. So this is the one thing I want to revisit for the podcast. I want us to have fun, and I want us to create from a place of pure joy and creativity. Because we do our best work when it comes from there. I want us to be consistent with mapping out the things that we want to see happen in the podcast and just doing that creatively. But we can set goals when it comes to the personal things, but we create the content to get us in the door and just allow God to do the rest. That's where my spirit is with it. Because we have so many things that we are building and doing in our personal lives. I ain't forgot about your candles. Because I'm gonna remind you every chance I get. We know that's coming
Neither
back in
have
the
I.
box. Yeah, that's something y'all gonna get and y'all gonna love it. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Period. So I think that we have so many things that we're doing in our personal and business lives that I want to operate in this podcast from a place of love and joy because we love to read. We be clocking these books like this. Like, let me friends with these people. And we really
Yes.
enjoy it. It comes from a pure place, like a childlike joy. So that's something that I really want to have for the podcast this year. Of course, we do have business goals because we do pay for things. Not going to hold you. We do have products that we want to bring to y'all and we want to sit down and create. And I think that those more intricate goals I haven't really mapped out yet in my mind. But the bigger overall goal, I do want us to do the podcast from a place of joy and consistency and get comfortable with that. So that's my biggest goal for the podcast.
Okay, I really
Try
like
you.
that. And I do agree when you said you wanted to create from a place of fun. As an older sister, I was kind of like, what's that? No, and I really like that because I agree that's something I'm trying to do more as well. Like, wow, also resting more and not doing so much, allowing myself to have more fun and not being so, I don't know the word, but not being that, just
Rigid,
allowing fun to exist.
strict,
Um, hmm?
rigid, strict, um, overthinking a little bit.
All of those, but just
All those
allowing
things
more
go hand
fun
in
to
hand.
exist. So I really love that. I really love that, and I
Mm-hmm.
agree wholeheartedly. Something that I see for the book club is really the book club, the podcast, our community. I really want to expand our community. I want
Mm-hmm.
us to be a common household name. Like when you think
Mm-hmm.
about Black women moving forward, just having this space to be vulnerable, creating space for other women to come in and coexist with us. I see that for us. I see us having an audience and a community that
I'm
continues
with
to
you, P.
grow, because I do know that what we are doing here is a special thing. And I think sometimes we get to just overthinking, and we get into spaces where, and this relates back to the book, feeling like what we're doing isn't enough because of the amount of attention or lack thereof that we're getting right now. So I'm really proud of us for still sticking through things in
Mm-hmm.
2024, because I think we wanted to grow more than we actually did last year. But I
Mm-hmm.
do think we saw a lot of growth.
Yeah.
I do notice that when we show up,
Got our TikTok to 1,000 followers.
yes, we were really excited about that.
Yeah.
They don't need to take it.
It's
Don't
gonna
take
be 100,000 next. Don't take TikTok,
it.
please.
Yes. I think that was a really big thing for us, because that just reminded us that when we have that discipline and when we stick to the plan, we can see the results that we want to see. No, it may not be in the time that we want to see it in, but we still saw it. We still
Mm-hmm.
saw it, and I'm so proud of us for even allowing us ourselves to get to that space. As far as the podcast, I want us to experiment with new things. Like I want
Mm-hmm.
us to go to Essence. I want us to be
Mm-hmm.
guests and speakers at Essence, just letting women know just how beneficial this community and space has been to us, and just
Mm-hmm.
sharing that goodness with other women and offering them the opportunity to grow and heal through literature with us. I would like to start bringing on more guests,
Mm-hmm.
co-working with platform, other podcasts and other people.
Some of our friends.
Yeah, some of our
Mm-hmm.
friends.
We could do some panels on different
Getting
subjects.
comfortable with that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I want us to take this how do I want to say that? I want us to act as if we are an authority figure in this space. We have been
Mm-hmm.
healing through literature, crying on every episode, and just being vulnerable, just allowing God to just help heal things that we have struggled with for a long time.
Yeah.
And we have, poured ourselves out into this platform, and I want other people to do the same, and I want us to continue to grow in that way.
Mm-hmm. To know
Um,
that we're supposed to be here.
yes, because if
Mm-hmm.
you had told me a few years ago that I would be comfortable with getting on in front of a camera, just putting my business out there, I would have cringed and melted in front of you. No lie. But now I am more open to it and just, more comfortable with healing in community because that's essentially
Mm-hmm.
what this is. So I love that for me and I love that for us. And something else, I want to just be more comfortable in this space. I want us to
Mm-hmm.
have more authors and more guests on here
Mm-hmm.
as we continue reviewing these books every month. And I want everything to coexist, like you said. I want this to
Mm-hmm.
not be a separate thing, but everything intertwined so it works together for the good of
Mm-hmm.
all.
Hmm. I like how you started what you said with basically expanding our community and us just this podcast being a safe place where people like know, oh, I'm looking for a place where women go to talk about, deep experiences, whether they're reading books or they just want to express themselves, and knowing that they can come to this place and be intentional, which this comes from the chapter of intention in the book. The first quote is, "What comes from the heart touches the heart," and I think that is what that kind of sums up what I believe that I want from this year. Like, we get online and we online, in person, in our community, and we definitely allow our heart to flow so that the people and the tribes that are supposed to be connected with us, their heart can feel it and they'll be here. Because I know that our message is being seen by others and it being felt. And I just hope that they are seeing this podcast and know that we welcome you. We definitely want to create more spaces where we can intertwine and connect with all of our followers that follow us, all of our listeners who listen to us on the podcast space or on YouTube, or just, know us locally. We definitely want to create more spaces where we can have people there. I like how you said you want to have more people on, and I said something about panels. I definitely want to do more things in person. hmm
Yes.
I think that
Okay,
that's
okay.
possible. Like us orchestrating, even if it's just one or two things this year, us orchestrating where people can come out and we can have events in person or have discussions in person or have reviews in person, whatever that looks like, however God wants that to go. But we definitely create those spaces for to be a physical safe space for women. I definitely see that for us as well. Um, and I know we had so many goals last year, but we didn't put it together intentionally vocally. And I think now us creating this in this episode, we calling the energy in, baby.
Yeah.
hmm So it's gonna be
I
a great
like
year.
that. I do. I like that. All of the things that we have named are just things that are kind of they all require us to step outside of our comfort zones. I
hmm
think sometimes you and I, just being friends, we are alike in the way where we are not so public with certain things. Like, we have a lot of
hmm
these conversations privately. Um, so just knowing that we want to go public,
Hmm.
um,
Public with
it
authority.
it's it's terrifying, but it's also exciting because we know the value that we're bringing.
You know, I've been out
Um,
here. I think God had to deal
well,
with
you
me
have
on
always.
how. Nope. But he had to deal with me on how I was out here. You bring it back some. You're gonna scare the people. I want to say another word,
I feel like you have always been comfortable with it. You've always been
but
comfortable
I've
with
been
being in front of the
aggressive.
camera. You have that. You know, you remind me of like a don't take this wrong, but you know how like, and we can maybe cut that part. But you know how like Wendy Williams has this inviting personality. How
Hmm.
people didn't like how she did her job sometimes, but you cannot deny that
You can't
she
look
did her
away.
damn job.
You can't
She
look
did
away.
her job. So like this vibrant personality, this the eyes that are just in love with the camera, I feel like you have always been there. You've always been ready. You
Thank
know,
you.
you could be
Thank
la
you.
la 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 and a camera start rolling and you thank you for tuning in.
I should have been
And
a
I love
broadcaster.
that. Like
Ooh, if my
you
dad
stay
see this, he gonna
ready.
be like, "I told you, you should have did broadcast. I told you whole time." I think so,
You
but
stay ready when it comes to it.
this is really. I don't know if y'all, this is the Leo rising showing, but this is us really growing into me personally because ironically, I told Kenyatta one time, like, I'd be nervous too, girl. Really? When? I'd
You
be
never
nervous
showed it.
too. I'd be nervous too, and I think that this is me just really growing into um being comfortable with taking up space, but me taking up space in a peaceful way. Like I don't have to to scare everybody into submission. Like I can show up just, me. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. And what I said is what I said.
Yeah.
Period. So I'm glad
And
to
so
kind of
I
be
am
coming
in the
back.
process of like, working my way there. I feel like
Hmm.
I don't even want to go back and look at the first episode. I know I was a nervous mess, but I feel like now just growing into myself more, taking up space, like you said, I feel
Hmm.
like I am better. There are things I still want to improve on, but I do feel like I'm better. I think we are better, and I
Hmm.
love that for us.
I,
Onward and
I
upward.
period. And I think that in a way too, if I could just be honest, I think that I'm getting more comfortable with showing up authentically, not in a performance type of way. Like how a talk show host has a type of persona they have to give to the world to deliver the message and da 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 da. Like now I feel like I've always had that. I can always show up and just get it done. Now I can show up. It doesn't have to be over the top all the time, but the energy doesn't have to be high. It can be mellow. And I'm just getting comfortable with you see me how you want to see me. Instead of me trying to predict and put it all together so you can see me a certain way with a certain type of energy. And now I'm just getting more comfortable with myself. Thank you, God. Um, yeah, just getting more comfortable with it's me. It's me.
I love that because how you see
Mm-hmm.
me has nothing to do with me and
Period.
everything to do with you.
Hmm. But yeah, this is gonna be a great year. I definitely want to, as we both talked about the things that we want to take into this new year from reflection and our practical tips in how we want to go forward. Um, so I think we've already kind of discussed how we want to go into the new year differently, the things that we want to see happen in the year, and how we're going to achieve those goals. Did you want to talk a little bit about the journal prompts for everybody that's listening, or just advising them different ways to kind of ensure that you know that you are enough as well, and we all start this year on a high note, you know?
Yes, of course. I thought that, just going into the new year, just being more reflective and, working to be more intentional, we thought it'd be cool for us to start creating journal prompts and questions that are inspired by our book of the month. So we have 2 journal prompts that we are going to give you guys. We would love it if you guys could answer the journal prompts and just share your answers with us online. Let us know what you think about the current book and just about the journal prompts that we give. So the first one is, what does being more than enough mean to you? And the second question is, what boundaries will you set to protect your energy this year? And I really like that question because we said we're going to be intentional. We said we are going to be disciplined. So, what practices and what boundaries are you going to put in place to make sure that you protect your energy? Share with us. We would love to hear your answers. You can share with us on YouTube. You can email us, or you can just find us on the socials and just share your answers with us. And we will, we get some responses. Maybe the next episode we can read them and just share them with our community. So yes.
Period. Yeah, we would love for you guys to interact with our journal prompts. Like she said, drop those in the comments, send those on the socials, on YouTube, on the podcast comments. Don't forget to give us 5 stars because we are 5 stars.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you have made it this far, be sure to share this episode with a friend, a homegirl, someone that wants to get back into reading this year. I know at the top of the year, that is always a goal for a lot of people, is to get back more into reading. So what perfect way then to join us in Our Sistas Corner, where we focus on bridging the gap between healing and literature.
Yes.
So yes.
And period. And you already know, if you are setting your intentions and your boundaries for this year, we're taking this year slow. You've heard me and Kenyatta say how we're going to ease into this year. Take it one day at a time, okay? Join our book club. We do 1 book a month. Now, we do 1 book a month on paper, but we do 1 book a month, so it's no big hassle. You don't even have to read. Honestly, we read it for you.
Yes. And I think that's something that is so great about this podcast, because in the first episode, we kind of just have a social hour, a conversation corner where we just chat about, a few takeaways from the book. And in the review episode, we're a little more detailed and thorough, where we really break down the book and talk about just everything in the book in depth a little more. So yes, be sure to share this episode with a homegirl or just someone that wants to get back into reading, because they're gonna love it here.
Period. And we definitely want to be intentional about interacting more with our community. We will be having lives and Zooms that we will be orchestrating throughout this month and each month to come. We want to get more intentional about being out in the streets, the Our Sistas Corner streets, that is, to connect with all of the people who follow the book club. Also, if you guys like to see anything specific from Our Sistas Corner when it comes to connecting with the community, or something that you'd like to add as far as like how to discuss the books that we read, or your opinion about the books that we read, drop those in the comments. We welcome all suggestions. We are always on our social media. We see our comments when we're on our lives. We welcome anybody to jump in and talk with us. But sometimes we don't even know what's the most convenient way with, connecting with our community. So yeah, we really appreciate all those suggestions, and we look forward to making real genuine connections with new women who are looking to expand this new year, set boundaries, and really just thrive. That's really what it is. Our women of color, we
Yes.
want to thrive this year. We want to have a good time. We want to grow, and we want to focus on joy. And
Yes.
gratitude. Don't forget gratitude. What's going on?
Yes. Okay. Speaking of joy and gratitude, I think this is a perfect segue to move into our butterfly letter segment. As you know, the butterfly letter segment is a portion of our podcast where we reflect, show appreciation, and just highlight the beauty in the people around us. You know, they always say that a butterfly doesn't see its wings, so it's important for the people around to remind you of the beauty that you possess and all the amazing qualities that you have. So this portion of our episode is where we just take time to give appreciation and give our flowers to the people that deserve them. And for this first episode, I would like to give a butterfly letter to the amazing host of Our Sistas Corner podcast. I would like to thank us. I really want to thank us. I really want to thank us for all the work that we have put in, the foundation that we have been building over the past 2 years in the book club. No. We're on year 3. So for this very first episode and butterfly letter, I would like to shout out the amazing, wonderful, beautiful hosts of Our Sistas Corner podcast, us. I really would like to thank us. Homegirl, you know that this has been a journey. We have truly been healing and bridging the gap between healing and literature. We have been in the book club for 3 years, and we have been podcasting. We started podcasting last year. And, you know, we have been beside each other, growing and learning together, and I'm proud of us. I love the growth that we have been doing. We have been growing and just healing and just allowing God to continue to make us better. And we are only moving forward from here. I think this journey has been a pleasurable experience because I have had such an amazing woman by my side, you know, guiding me through this, learning with me, growing with me. And I'm just thankful to God just with the direction we're headed, you know, all that we have done, all that we are doing, and all that we are going to do. I'm grateful for this incredible journey, and I would not want to be on this with anyone but you. So I'm thankful, and I love you. I love us, and I'm so grateful for this friendship. And I just want God to continue to pour into me, to allow me to pour into you, and pour into you to allow you to pour into me. I love us. And I'm proud of us. And I just know that great things are in stores for us, you know, personally, individually, collectively. We just onward and upward. So
Period. Yeah. I know that's right. I know. Listen, I completely agree, girl. I have children, y'all. I have children, but yes, and you know what? Let's just take a moment. Like, no waterworks diamond, but when you literally say like we started this 3 years ago, y'all, like that first year we were in the podcast, like the first year so much happened that I really just think about. I go back and think about it, like we really were just powering through, and we really just were extremely persistent to not letting any of the hurdles keep us from doing something that we really enjoyed to do. I look back on like your loss and you still showing up, and then me figuring out what's happening with my life, going to therapy, and this last 3 years has been a continuous uphill journey to a peak. We don't even know what the peak is. We didn't even have this as a goal. You know what I'm saying? We came into this thing, like you said a little while ago, like we did this for ourselves. And it's really turning into something so beautiful, excuse me. And it's turned into something so intentional that is needed in this space. It's something that we haven't seen from women of color. Just diving into these books that you know, It's on your shelf collecting dust. Whole time it's holding the key to a level that you need, you know. So I appreciate it. I receive it. I love you. I listen. When I tell you you came into my life, we've talked about this before. I've cried about this already on the episode, but you came into my life in a season where my view of friendship, partnership, all the things was very distorted, and you have literally held my hand through this journey in me rebuilding my perception of women, friendship, just all around. Like, we both have transformed over these last few years and created this beautiful friendship where now I couldn't imagine my life without you, you know? And
I
it's so crazy
know.
because you were literally my neighbor across the street. And now we be like, girl, I wish I lived close to you whole time. You were 30
I
seconds
know.
away. But I think that, with divine order, things happen as they supposed to. And I always say this, and Kenyatta don't get it. We weren't meant to be friends then because I wasn't this person. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't this person. We weren't ready. And now I feel like God knows this is the moment. These are the moments where we are intentional about becoming the women that he predestined us to be. And it's a really beautiful thing. It's a very intentional thing. Through all the mistakes, procrastination, just both of us just trying to figure out life. But in the midst of all of it, we see each other. And it's a very beautiful, unusual thing. Like, it's no, we literally, when people say me and my friend have been doing, we listening, we don't judge, we've been doing it. It's been a thing. Bitch, I ain't gonna judge you. You
Yes.
feel me? I probably did it too.
Yes.
But yeah, um,
It's a no judgment zone.
period. And I,
Had we started this podcast when we were neighbors, this would be a different
girl, they would
podcast.
have been like,
This would be a
cancel.
completely different podcast because I'm not, I feel like I am a better woman myself. Like, I have tapped into
Yeah,
myself more, and like you said, we weren't supposed to be
yeah,
friends then because it would not have been the
yeah,
same. We would not have been as intentional or as thoughtful and
yeah.
considerate.
Hmm.
Considerate.
Period.
We would not have been this considerate, and I'm grateful for it. We weren't supposed to be that then, but now I cannot imagine my life without you. Either you are a part of my backyard crew. I love you, homegirl, and I look
Yeah.
forward to everything that is to come for us personally, professionally, as well as the podcast and growing in business together. So
Hmm.
yes, upward
I
and
know that's
onward.
right. And yeah, you know what? Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, God be doing a thing. You know what I'm saying? God be doing a thing. Elaine said it, and now we're saying it. When you get in with God, He just be like, get in with me. We going somewhere good. Just go. And it's been
Yes.
beautiful. And I'm really excited. I'm really excited for how this year is gonna go. In just a joyous way. I can't drive that point enough. I think that I have not gone into a year within the last 5 years where I'm not meticulously looking at a way to improve myself from a kind of like a judgmental standpoint to myself, like thinking that I'm not good enough. So I think that
Mhm.
this was a beautiful book to start this year out with. I am
Yes.
enough. I'm going into this year knowing that yes, I have things I want to work on. Yes, I have things I want to create and see done and get accomplished, but it's all coming from a place of joy and a place of I know I can do this. I'm working on it, but still, I know subconsciously and spiritually that I can do this, and all of these things are going to come to fruition because God predestined for it to be that way. So I'm definitely
Yes.
glad that we are moving into year 4, and I'm trying to see how good it's gonna get. God, blow our minds, okay? We gonna show
Yes.
up and do our part and just blow
Yes.
our minds. And listen, that's it.
Yes, I
That's
love
it.
that.
For real.
I love that. So if you guys have made it this far, as you can see, our Sistas Corner podcast is not only a love letter to ourselves, but it's also to each other, so we can continue growing together, learning together, and becoming who God has called us to be together. And we invite you guys to join us on this journey of healing and bridging the gap between healing and literature. This space has it's fun. It has been evolving and it is constantly improving and getting better. So if you have enjoyed this episode, be sure to share it with the homegirl.
Like, comment,
Like it. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. This year, we are really going to be focusing on tapping in and growing our community on YouTube. We have our conversation corner. Let me repeat that. We have a new segment that we are currently working on called the Conversation Corner, where you can find us on social media. You can find us on YouTube, where we would just be going live discussing things, and we would love for you ladies and you guys to join us over there. And be sure to subscribe to our newsletter so you can stay connected in the know. Yes. Yes. So, as we close out, was there anything else that you wanted to say, homegirl?
I think we hit all the marks. I think we did it.
Yes. Okay. So, until next time, this has been a beautiful episode. I will see you on the next one.
And bye.
Bye.